So, meditation is a very dear topic to us, and it's also there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about the meditation. So, we will go through the science aspect of meditation, variety of meditation, how they impact us, our mind, body, and how to interpret them so that we can build a very strong, good practice for our own benefit. So, what is meditation? It comes from, in the modern perspective, we call it mind body. So, ancient wisdom and science, what it emphasizes the interdependence of mind and body. So, mind is dependent on the body is dependent on the mind. But same time, we mind over the matter. So, that means we assert that mind has far more profound influence on the body than that of the body on the mind. So it also employs various mental and physical techniques to attain harmony of body, mind, and spirit. Like we heard, focus on the breathing, counting numbers, variety of ideas. So usually everybody want to be happy and want to be in peace mentally. So what we need to do is we need to gain control over our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors, and the nature. So they are all interrelated and reciprocal to each other. So question comes is, we clean the body, so we groom ourselves, we dress well. So do we clean the mind? Next question comes is, how to clean the mind? So obviously we can call that meditation becomes the science and art of non-doing. So it's a state of deep rest, but same time, we are fully alert into the state. These are traditional methodologies which rely on knowing yourself or giving rest to the mind and also balancing the mind. So knowing who you are, giving rest to the mind and bringing it to the state of balance. So if we look at the modern research, these are the couple of modalities which shows the scientific evidence that where meditation is very, very helpful. So you can see the range is quite broad. This is the science-based definition of what meditation is. We will not much spend time on that. But this is the point I want to make, that meditation procedures, they differ. And then when we meditate, the EEG is something which we track our brain activity. The patterns of our EEG also differ. So it brings us to the common idea, then the effect from different meditations should also differ. So we share the different meditation techniques. So usually people think meditation is difficult, or I have to control my mind, and variety of those type of myths. But ideally, if we really meditate, then the effort should be no effort. And then the impact on the brain and whatever the result is, it should be verifiable. And the benefit should be same and equal to everyone. That means it is equal. Even if you are skeptic, it should still work for the science. So one of the studies published into the Journal of Consciousness and Cognition kind of categorized the meditation in 3 categories based on the brainwave differences. So the first one is the concentration, which most people call as meditation. Then the open monitoring like mindfulness or the other techniques where you observe and you think loving kindness and variety of those things. And then the third one is the self-transcending, transcendental meditation. So when we look at the real gist of what we think from the science perspective as meditation is the self-transcendent state. So what is transcendental state is really, we go to the origin of who we are. So we'll discuss this more. So we go from the lower to the higher. So the lower conscious to the higher consciousness, variety of way to look at it. And these are the waves which we see, which relate to the typical brain activity in different kind of techniques. This is a slide from the Mayo Clinic, which compares three different types of these meditation categories. So the first one, as we discussed, has no effort, versus the mindfulness has moderate effort, and the concentration has very strong effort required to go into the technique. EEG image, as you see, have a variable waves. So the first one has the alpha, and then the theta, and then the beta. Alpha also means a very rhythmic, normal activity of the brain. And the description is relaxed, happy, focus, versus mindfulness has the dreamlike states, and the concentration, it gives you the logical thinking and problem solving mental states. So here is another chart which describes this mindfulness meditation, or the two first categories, the concentration or the focus attention and open monitoring, holds us at the waking state because we are still doing something. In the transcendental state, because we are automatically self-transcending, it creates deep relaxation. It also creates the EEG coherence, is the coherence into the brain. And we reach a state, we call it as restful alertness. So then we reach the state of the silent mind, which is called as transcendental consciousness or the pure consciousness, bliss consciousness, happiness, variety of names, whatever way you can describe. So this shows you again how the waves transmit. So gamma waves, they describe the high frequency, so cortical areas which are near each other, which is necessary for focus attention. So when we really focus, and we have to make effort to do that, we create the gamma waves. When there is inhibition of sensory input, which is necessary to reduce distraction during internal mental processing, we create the theta waves, versus alpha waves, they are automatic self-transcending. So they create coherence and synchrony, coordinates the activities of cortical areas that are apart, which is necessary for memory, comprehension, creativity, fine motor coordination, relaxation, variety of those responses. Now, this is how the total brain coherence looks like: increased creativity, increased intelligence, improved concept learning ability, improved grade point average, increased emotional stability, decreased state anxiety, decreased neuroticism, so many wonderful benefits. So Mayo Clinic describes the TM as something which you use a mantra such as a word, sound, or a phrase, which you repeat silently to narrow your conscious awareness and eliminate all thoughts from your mind. So you focus exclusively on your mantra to achieve a state of perfect stillness and consciousness. And this is a saying by Maharishi: any system that does transcend its emotional, intellectual, or perceptual activity will be called as the transcendental meditation. Now, this is the fMRI, which shows you actually the functional activity of the brain. So it shows you the higher activity into the prefrontal cortex of the brain. So that's actually the CEO of our brain. So all of our higher functions are ruled by that part of the brain. So the transcendental meditation create that change into the increased activity and the lower into the other part. So when we look at the coherence into the brain, so this is the EEG taken before 5 seconds before people start the meditation. You're familiar now with alpha, beta, and gamma states. And this is what happens in 30 seconds. Total coherence into the transcendental states, versus the methodologies, they fall short because there is no total coherence into the brain. So This shows us the science empowers us variety of things. I'll quickly show you a few things that when you do the meditation, the breath rate naturally lowers. It also creates deep rest, and a lot of stress markers, they automatically reduce. Um, then if you compare different states of meditation and practices, you see variable effects as we discussed with variety of clinical trials. So we'll not spend a lot of those time into this, but just to give you the idea that how this can be useful, the knowledge behind what technique we choose, why we make the choice we made, what's the outcome of that choice, and how it can be used for our own benefit. Then we go back to the inference from the yoga, love and the word loves with you. Happiness is in seeing what you have. So we make a shift in attitude where rather than working for happiness, we start working in happiness. So that's kind of motto of life. There is a saying by Swami Paramahansa Yogananda. He says that practicing yoga poses just as an exercise or meditation just for relaxation is like building a new beautiful home and living on the porch. So this is what I found somewhere. So somebody is asking, where did you find that? I have been looking for it everywhere. And the person is saying, I created it myself. So that's really the message we take from this presentation. So coming back to the quick summary that whatever technique we choose, the result outcome will be based on that. There is nothing right or nothing wrong. It's really each technique, each vehicle has its own plus minuses. So we choose the practice which will scientifically useful for us for the optimal benefit. The criteria for choosing the practice, what we are going to choose, no effort. It should be pleasant and charming and enjoyable. Most of the time when people say, I can't concentrate, we always tell them that because you're focused on the wrong idea. So if I look at the butterfly, I'll be fully immersed into the experience. There is no way my senses are going to travel anywhere. Also, many times our focus becomes on the outcomes or the processes which happen. But many times we forget to go to the source. We forget go to the origin of thought. So if I notice that the what seed I sow, the tree will come. And then also when I water to the root of the tree, everything will nourish. That means if I need to nourish myself, I have to think of strengthening into the inner core. And many years ago, we saw this quote which said that the man is made into the image of the God. And I was really pondering on the idea and saying, if I am created into the image of the God, then how God will want his child to be unhappy? Or that's the image. So it's not possible. So it brings us to the very powerful idea that human mind is built for bliss and the human body is built for movement. And that's why we use the yoga to prepare our body so that we can hold the body still into any comfortable position. And then we direct our mind in a way so that the only thing what we have to do, the vehicle, is that mantra which takes us to the core. And most of the time, our mind occupies us, intellect occupies us on the surface level, the superficial levels, and our consciousness is very, very deep. And all the origins of variety of things, when we go to the source, everything comes to the peace. So that's a very simple message to take back and think about it. one more idea you can take, that twice a day, 20 minutes of meditation is proven to be highly beneficial. There are clinical studies, also endorsement from the American Heart Association to say twice a day practice of the transcendental meditation for 20 minutes actually reduces the heart disease and mortality by 50%. So choice becomes ours that the meditation or medication.